Hi, welcome to the program. A little bit different show today. Usually I'm sarcastically witty and delightful, but today I'm not. Today we're going to talk about cars and automobiles. We have an incredible author who has written a book called Drive about automobiles and our fascination with them. The book is put out by the Smithsonian Institute, and it's a fantastically beautiful book. It's a gift book for anybody that's a car or automobile enthusiast. And then we're going to speak to Kelley Blue Book people who actually have a list of new cars under $20,000. I said new cars, not used. New, brand new cars under $20,000 in all different categories of automobiles. So that'll be fascinating. So that's what we're doing today. I step aside from that, and we're going to speak to people about the cars today. So join me, will you? Sit back, relax, do what you need to do.
On the air everywhere, this is New England Broadcasting.
Welcome to the Ron Van Dam Show. Hold on tight. Things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing. Whatever.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever your liquid libation may be in the morning, and join us as we take a look at the world around us. As much as it's a pleasure to be with you, the pleasure is actually all yours. And now, here's your host, Ron Van Dam.
So how you feeling? You good? You good? You know, I don't just do shows. I really care about you. I'm sorry. I almost said that with a straight face. I was so close to pulling that off. No, I do care about you, because if you get sick or you're not able to listen to the show, my listenership goes down by one person, and that's significant. So, so I need to keep you healthy. I need to keep you interested, and that's why I'm offering you $10 million. No, I'm not offering you any money whatsoever, although you can offer me money if you'd like. Anyway, I have no idea where I'm going with this conversation. So, yeah, you know, I think we need to step up our relationship in the sense that you need to listen to me more. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Just because you've listened to the show once, why not at the end of it would you not say, that was very, very delightful, Ron. I'm going to listen to it again right now. I know people don't do that, but you could start a new fad. Yeah, it would be like binge listening on the same show all day. Just have me on in the background like some type of a Zen exercise, you know? And I've often said, and I'm very serious about this, if you can't sleep at night, maybe prostate problems, or maybe you had too much water, or your mind's racing, just play one of my shows very softly in the background. I guarantee you will fall asleep within 10-15 seconds. Even I do that. I listen to myself to fall asleep. There's so many uses for this show. There really are. When you stop and think about it, then you've wasted a lot of time. Okay, good, fine, that's it. What do you want from me now? Giles Chapman joins us now. He's a leading international authority on the automobile, the industry, and the culture, and he's written 10,000 books on the subject. I know I'm exaggerating, but why not? I'll tell you very, very quickly, Giles. We get a lot of books here on the radio program for interview's sake, and this one came. Okay. This one came. I opened up the package, and I nearly fell on the floor. This is like one hell of a book, like I've never seen before. It's man, you talk about a book. This is beautiful. It's got beautiful pictures. It's rich with history and information, and it's just man, I want to just take this book and put it in a prominent place in my house to make people think I'm intelligent.
Well, I mean, could an author hear anything more pleasing than that? I mean, that's just wonderful of you. Thank you. But I must say, whilst I'm standing here taking all the credit, I didn't write all of it. There's just no way I could have had enough time within the schedule to have done it. So I did actually have a great team of people to work with, and I was able to, if you like, design the structure of the book. Yeah. And the whole point of it was to do something on driving cars and not just the history of the hardware. And so with that in mind, I could then commission quite a few other experts to help me, and they did do a brilliant job in a short time.
It's amazing, and it's you did this work through the auspices of the Smithsonian. You worked with them, which gives it even more credence, actually, because that's an institution that is incredible and impressive on its own. This is a kind of book, as I said.
Of course, it's very worrying when you know that your work has got to go before their experts.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Not a lot of scope for messing up.
No, I guess not. But you kind of you apparently fit through that narrow passageway, so that's very good. Father's Day is coming up, and we equate driving in cars, the fascination thereof, with males, but I got to tell you, I know a lot of females that are like really into cars and really into driving, and if it's not the sleekness and the thrill of the drive, it's the mechanics of it. If it's not that, it's the history of it. I mean, there's just so many facets to the automobile.
Well, that's right, and I mean, I should say, women often make excellent drivers as well, because they they don't take stupid risks like a lot of men do. Yeah. Many of the women I know who are into cars are able to handle powerful cars extremely well, and I think they do appeal to both sexes.
Oh, absolutely. But it is a great.
Here I was.
Yeah, go on.
Go ahead, please.
Well, I was going to say it is a great Father's Day gift, happens to be, but I mean, any time of year it's wonderful. This is the kind of book you want to display. If you have a coffee table or a prominent table in your house, you just, you make a little area for this book and you're all set. And it does, as I went through it, it reminded me of my childhood. It reminded me of my past, the things that I did with my car, and the friends, like we treat our cars like they're people sometimes.
Yes. Well, because I suppose they are, they're the biggest consumer product most of us will ever buy.
Yes.
And your first car is a rite of passage, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, all my friends and I, we all couldn't wait to get driving when we were 17 here in the UK. And I suppose the sad thing, possibly over the last 2-3 decades, I think, is that I think cars they've a little bit crossed the line from being instruments of freedom to instruments of restriction, and that is you can't drive fast anywhere without being photographed at court, fined and punished, and I totally understand that. That's fine. There's a great rationale for driving safely, but also with the amount of traffic on the roads, both here and you think of various parts of the state, you can't drive your car like you see it in the ads.
Right, like in the movies, right?
These sort of empty roads are a nonsense. of the creative industries, really.
Yeah, there are
so
many.
we're battling with each other for road space, and getting more and more annoyed about it, and possibly in all that feeling, we're the love affair might have cooled a little bit. I mean, you think of a driverless car, that's an unemotional spot to sit.
I was going to say I was going to bring that up because when I heard about this driverless car, I said to myself, you've just killed an entire pleasure. You really have. It's like you're saying, well, you can't have sex anymore. We're going to bring somebody else in to do it for you. You cannot do that. I couldn't believe that was the case. Anyway, okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that when perhaps you and I learned to drive, we also did have to invest quite a lot of skill into how we handled the car.
Yeah.
We didn't have as many. I'm sorry, I'm making a big assumption about your age, and you're not in your early 20s.
No, I'm not. You're right.
So, we actually had to sort of learn to park properly. You had to, you didn't have all these sort of, you didn't have sat-nav, for example. If you were going to plan a journey, you had to look at a map, memorize it.
Yep.
If it was a long one, then you'd have to sort of, get ready for that and so on. So there's a degree to which the kind of the early days of driving, even actually fixing your car is now something I think many people are a little bit frightened of.
Correct.
You open the hood and you see that yellow lightning sticker that basically says "Don't touch anything because you may die."
Well, yeah. Well, that also because everything's computerized. I don't know how to fix computers, and if I do something wrong, my warranty's over. I mean, it's just you can't even think about it.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't invite you to get as involved maybe as you would have done in the past.
Yeah, that's one of the sadder things, I guess. Go on.
Sorry, say again.
No, that is one of the sadder things about the romance of the automobile. Yeah. The book hits all facets of it. It does. It even looks at the manufacturing and how that's changed society. And there's some trivia and fascinating facts and even car racing. Those that love to race cars or watch auto racing and the various types of that. It's all there. The development of traffic lights. I mean, I don't know how you threw all this stuff in there.
Well, nobody gave me a bullet point list to say these things have got to be in there. They did really say, okay, you can have a lot of pages, and let's do it differently. And for me, that was really about every type of interaction that not just we've had, that our parents have had and our grandparents have had with cars over that time. I mean, I've never done a book before where somebody has let me get away with a massive double-page spread of driving movies.
Well, there you go.
And that is, that's anyone who's been to one of those. It's one that I know they've come back in popularity quite a bit in the States, haven't they? But that's a very evocative place to be with a car, thing to do with a car. In these days of consuming media on your tablet and so on, perhaps it even just seems a bit farcical. But so many of these things we've done with them, great journeys and the ownership experience and so on. They just very much they frame your life, I find. Well, I would say that because I'm a classic car fanatic.
Yes,
but,
well, of course you are.
What I wanted to do with it is try and make some content that if you weren't quite as much of a nerd as me, you could still see how it's shaped our world, if you like.
Yeah, it's not just for nerds, so to speak. Smithsonian, it's Drive. It's Drive. You can't go wrong with that. You can Google that. And it is the definitive history of driving in every aspect you can imagine. It's an incredibly great gift book. And there's a quote on the back by D.H. Lawrence, and it says, "The great home of the soul is the open road." And that kind of sums up the emotions that actually exist between the front and the back cover. Giles Chapman, a pleasure speaking to you. Is there a website we can visit?
Well, I have a website which is just my name.com, so that's gileschapman.com. And I've written quite a lot of other books about different aspects of car culture as well, so you can find those if you want to.
Beautiful. The name of the book is Drive. Go find it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Giles, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, and for me. I've loved it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're listening to The Big Show with Ron Van Dam. I wish I could listen to it too, but sometimes he says bad words.
Are you the sort of person who feels vicarious excitement at the prospect of a robust discount? Then you need to pay us a visit at Jerome Cherrington's Emporium of Preposterous Values. Each and every day, our standard pricing model is an absolute affront to common retailing practices and could indeed be seen as an indication of mental instability. Consider, if you will, a 24-pack of your favorite coffee pods, if one happens to drink such a thing, a mere $2.99. Is that sensible in the least? No, I tell you, it is not. And what of this? Common T-shirts with witty sayings upon them, suitable for men, women, and children, depending upon how you've raised them, 10 for $6. This is uncanny pricing that quite simply flies in the face of all possible reason, and the only explanation for this behavior on my part is that I am not sane, frankly. Do not take my word for it. Instead, find your way here to Jerome Cherrington's Emporium of Preposterous Values, just off the motorway and beyond the roundabout, where our everyday retailing decisions are simply unnatural.
Hello.
Hey, is this Ron?
Yes, it is. Hi, Micah. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, Ron.
Good. Micah Muzio joins us now. He's with Kelly Blue Book. We've talked to him many times before. He wrote the Bible on cars. You didn't write it, actually, but you can say you did. No one's going to know otherwise.
Yeah, no, I'll take some credit. I don't mind.
What the hell? Okay. We're talking about cars are very expensive these days. They're up around like 30, 40, 50 grand.
Yeah, that's right. The average price for a new car is about $35,000, and that might be a little bit daunting for budget-minded consumers, but we have a solution. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy.
Okay.
Every single year we put together our list of the coolest cars. Under $18,000 is what it's been for the last 15 years we've done this list. Yep. This year we finally bumped it up to $20,000. So that's still a very accessible mark for most car buyers.
It's inflation.
$20,000, you can get a very cool car.
Sure, that's inflation. That's fine. Okay, $20,000 is... it's kind of... Actually, I'm old enough to tell you that my first house wasn't much more than that. But anyway, that's besides the point. There were a lot of extenuating circumstances involved, but we won't get into that. But $20,000 is still a good amount, but in comparison, but what can you get for $20,000? Can you get a nice car?
Yeah, you really can get a nice car. We've got a whole list of 10, but I'll give you a quick sampling. One car that I think is just an excellent buy, and it actually winds up being my standard suggestion, where just sort of generically when I don't feel like putting a lot of effort into the suggestion, the Honda Civic. It's appealing to just about everybody. The great things about the Civic, up to 42 mile per gallon efficiency on the freeway. They make 3 different body styles, a sedan, a really attractive little coupe, and a hatchback. And one of the things I love about the Civic is that for $1,000, if you're willing to spend a little bit extra, that $1,000 Honda sensing package adds high-tech safety features like dynamic cruise control and lane keeping assist, which is the kind of advanced safety and driver assist technology that just a couple of years ago was reserved for very expensive vehicles, but now you can get it on a compact sedan or coupe from Honda. It's kind of amazing.
So let me understand here. You're not talking about cars from 1998 here.
Yeah, we are talking brand new cars for less than $20,000.
Oh my God! And are the cars hot? I mean, have they been stolen? I mean, my God.
I mean, I'm going to steal one of these out of the studio I'm in. Yeah, sure. The Honda Civic Coupe I'm looking at will definitely be hot.
So give me another example here.
Okay, so another example is the Mazda 3. The Mazda 3 has been on our list 15 years. It would have been on all 16 years we've been doing this list, except it didn't exist for that first year. But we love the Mazda 3 because it's super fun to drive. It's super fun to look at. I'm a fan of functionality, so they also make a hatchback, and I just love being able to toss a bunch of gear in the back. But what's really cool is that it's an NHTSA 5-star rated vehicle, which means it's very crash-worthy. It also features smart city brake support, which allows the vehicle to automatically apply the brakes in a city environment if it senses an impending collision and the driver doesn't react. And, for me, there's nothing cooler than not getting in an accident.
That's nice. Yeah, that works. Wow. So there's how many cars do you have on your list here?
Well, we've got a list of 10, and, what's nice about our list is that we cover quite a few different bases. So we've got, coupes, sedans, hatchbacks. We also have a couple of SUVs.
Get out.
Yes, a new small SUV that just came on the market for 2018 is the Hyundai Kona, and the Kona is pretty neat because I would describe its styling as either daring or polarizing. I consulted the people here in the studio, and we got some mixed reactions. But that kind of polarizing styling, I think, is the heart of cool. Sometimes, it's like, hey, I'm going to be audacious with my look, and I don't care who sees it and who knows it. But it's a really neat looking little SUV. But what's great about it, very practical design, great cargo space, and you can also add all-wheel drive with a locking center differential. And we don't have to get too technical, but that offers great traction in low-traction environments. So I guess what I'm saying is if you have an active lifestyle, you want to go out and do something gnarly on the weekend, the Hyundai Kona might be a pretty good ride.
I had absolutely no idea that you could get a car for $20,000, a brand new car. I would have never guessed that.
And that's why Kelley Blue Book puts together our list every year of the coolest cars under $20,000. I mean, that's just a really tight, quick sampling of our list. But we've got 10 vehicles that I think you might be surprised. And the thing is, if you haven't bought a car in the last couple of years, people buy cars every 3 to 5 years. If you haven't looked at what's available, you might not know just how little you can spend and still get a car that you'll actually be proud and excited to drive.
Wow. That's a great idea for graduating students and stuff. You need a vehicle, but your parents can't throw you one right this pump. This is a viable deal here. This is pretty cool.
Totally. Well, and also I'll say that when you buy a new car versus a used car, there's some real advantages in terms of it's got a warranty.
Right.
I don't have to think about that.
Right.
And it has your smell. You get to enjoy that new car smell when you get in. And there's something lovely about having your own vehicle. So so if you're graduating and you can convince your parents to spend $20,000 on you, check out our list of the coolest cars under $20,000.
Great.
There's some pretty neat stuff on there.
Yeah. I got pretty scared when you said you can put your own smell in the car. I don't know what that meant, but whatever.
Okay.
Whatever. Right. Okay. Whatever. Okay. All right. Where do we go for more information, which is pretty cool here? Where do we go?
Yeah, for more cool cars on our list of top 10 coolest cars under $20,000, head over to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. It's a great resource for buying, selling, or just researching cars. But if you want to look super cool and not spend a lot of money, KBB.com.
It's great. I have my KBB T-shirt. Actually, there's no such thing, I don't think, but I would like one.
I will commission a KBB T-shirt just for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, I didn't know you had that kind of clout in the company. That's pretty cool.
Oh no, I'm a powerful figure out here. Very powerful.
I understand. Okay. Hey, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, thanks a lot. Hope to talk soon.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
You know, we can't all be quite as cool as Ron Van Dam. But then again, most of us haven't had quite as long to work on it. You're listening to The Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Hello, is this Joe?
Hi, it's Joe.
I thought it was Joe. This is Joe Wiesenfelder. He's executive editor and director probably at Cars.com. How you doing today?
I'm all right. Thanks for the promotion.
Well, you know.
I'm executive director now. I'm going to go tell people what to do.
Yeah, salary's the same, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand you're standing in a very interesting place right now.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? The audio's not great.
Sure. Where are you right now?
Right now, I am on the production floor of the Belvidere, Illinois assembly plant where the Jeep Cherokee is assembled. And that is because the Jeep Cherokee was the #1 rated model in Cars.com's annual American-Made Index, which highlights the most American-made models on the market.
Joe, I don't understand what American made means anymore in the standpoint of automobiles, because we have assembly plants, but we don't make the product from conception to end. I guess is that how it works?
Well, this is exactly why we started the American Made Index 12 years ago, and back then it was actually clearer than it is now. I mean, someone who wanted an American-made vehicle might have said, all right, I'm going to buy a Ford, or I'm going to buy a Chevy, or something like that.
Right.
But the reality, even then, was that some vehicles with American brand name are imported, or at least built across the border in Canada or Mexico or someplace beyond there. And then there are what you might have at one point considered an import brand that produces vehicles in the U.S.
Right.
So what we did was we developed the American Made Index to look at the U.S. Domestic economic contribution of the particular model. So I'll give you an example. On our top 10 this year, there are 3 Hondas and an Acura, along with a couple of Chevrolets, a couple of Fords, Jeep I mentioned, and reason being. The Honda, I'll tell you a couple of models. The Honda Odyssey and Ridgeline are number 2 and 3 on the list behind the Jeep Cherokee. They're built in Lincoln, Alabama, and they have 75% domestic parts content. That's one of the data points we look at.
Okay.
And just as a comparison, you know there are some vehicles from American brands that are built outside of the U.S. I'm going to give you the most extreme example, which is a Buick Envision SUV. It's a good SUV. It's built in China with 2% North American content. So it's pretty clear that it's not just about the brand, it's about the vehicle, where it's built, and all these other things we consider, like the labor force, the country of origin for the engine and transmission, etc. All these things are what we put together into our formula and determine the American-Made Index every year.
So bottom line is, it's damn confusing.
It's still confusing, and actually in some ways it's getting even more confusing because not just here in the U.S., but elsewhere in the world, you look at what might have always been viewed as a domestic brand and find that it's owned by a foreign company. Like look at Volvo is now owned by a Chinese manufacturer.
Really?
Jaguar and Land Rover are owned by an Indian automaker.
Really?
much hard. I mean, this is not something that we're just seeing in the U.S. It's global, and the globalization of the industry is partly why we see so many different countries assembling vehicles, and why we've actually steadily seen the domestic parts slowly fall as automakers have started to find the best place to build, let's say, a part or a component or a vehicle. And what they try not to do is duplicate their efforts too much around the world, because that's just not cost effective.
And it's all in the name of economics, obviously.
Absolutely. I mean, that's pretty pragmatic that way.
Yeah, it's pretty much everything. I don't think you're old enough, but I remember as a kid watching television commercials in black and white. Dinah Shore, who was a very popular singer back then, used to talk about Chevrolet in the USA, and that was their branding. Chevrolet was, this is your most USA product ever. The steel even comes from across the street. I guess there's no more of that anymore.
Well, it depends on what you're looking at. Since you raise it, there are 2 Chevrolets on the top 10 this year. The Chevrolet Volt is built in Detroit. It's number 5. It's actually the first plug-in vehicle ever in the 12 years of the American-Made Index. And number 10, the Corvette. Everyone knows it, built in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So they're still there, but we really do find that it is really more on the model level than the brand level than ever before.
So does Cars.com actually have this list publicized? And I guess it does by now.
We do. We do our top 10 every year to highlight the most American-made.
Right.
And it is available now at Cars.com/AMI for American-Made Index. You can see all the vehicles on it and more details, methodology, some of the trends and things that have changed from year to year.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't do any surveys, but I believe that most of America, when it comes to car buying, probably looks at price first and quality second, and where it's made probably last.
It's really hard to say. It really depends on the consumer. I can tell you one thing from a lot of experience is that what consumers say in surveys and what they actually do are not always the same thing.
Well, just ask about the presidential election. You'll find that was different.
That may be true, too. But what they do is they look at a lot of things. They have a good idea of what they want. And then they go look for data to support it or maybe dissuade them from that. Look at mileage and crash tests and the opinions of reviewers like me, I would hope. And they may look at this and say, hey, this is one of the most American-made vehicles. That's another check in the plus column. I'm going to go for that one.
Wow. When you review cars, do you get them for free?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
When you review a car, do you get a car for free for doing it?
No, there's not. I actually have to say, for someone in my position as a journalist, I'm the last guy to get free stuff because I need to remain, neutral.
Right.
But I do drive a lot of different new cars to test them. So I don't know. One could argue maybe I do get a free car.
Yeah. Well, you get a free trip. You get a free ride.
They say no one gets a free ride. Maybe I do.
Yeah, but maybe you do. You're the exception. And you are, of course, American-made, I assume. Okay.
I actually am American-made. I'm not just American-made. I'm Chicago-made.
Chicago. Wow.
I do admit I'm a little bit proud that there are 3 models on the top 10 this year that were built in Illinois. What can I tell you?
I mean, we've come to the point where we're doing probably DNA testing on automobiles. But anyway, so it's Cars.com is where we go for all the information?
Yep, Cars.com. You can do Cars.com/AMI for American-Made Index and see all the details.
Great. Joe, it's been fun talking to you. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for your interest.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Well, this has been so exciting. I actually wet my pants halfway through the show today. Too much information? Yeah, but good information. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with a normal show, at which time we'll bond again. Until then, I wish you peace.